Hi, my name is Brian, sir, with Nutanix, and in this video we're going to be exploring how you can use role-based access controls to control per user or groups of users access to different entities within AHV clusters. Let's get started. I've already logged into our Prism Central instance here to save some time. We will both look at some user roles that I've already set up, and then we'll set up a new one so that you can see the process. So first, let's take a look at one of the rules that I've already set up for the roles. So we click on our roles, and we can see we have a AHV user group and an AHV level 2. So think of it, in this example as level 2 support. And we'll create one for administrators shortly. So we'll look at the user one because I've already assigned a user to this. And we can see the permissions that I've granted to this, which is basically just view everything. So the user would be able to see the VMs that they've been assigned, look at reports, look at networks, clusters, all those basic activities. We're essentially restricting them to just view access. If we look at the role assignment, we can see that I've assigned just one user. I can assign users or groups to this role, but I've just assigned the AHV user in my directory to that. And then I can see that I'm using categories to assign them to clusters, networks, and groups of VMs. And when we create the role, we'll get to see that further. So we'll pop over and look at the categories real quick. And just to make this simple and clear, I created a category called permissions. And then I made subcategories for clusters, networks, OVAs, reports, and VMs, just to make it super simple so you can see the different things that you can assign, the different entities that you can assign permissions to make it clear for this example. You can obviously use existing categories. You can make your own category structure, however you like. And then we can see that I've assigned a couple of VMs, a network, and a cluster to this. So then when I assign them to my different roles, the users or groups of users that are assigned to those roles will automatically get access to these. So let's go back to roles. And before I create that one, let's actually look at the VMs. So you can see I have 4 VMs on this cluster. And I will just go to a different browser window here. And this is my user. I've logged in with the AHV user that you can see that had the permissions, and we can see that the user is just assigned rights to just these 3 VMs. And then if we click on clusters, they can see the one cluster. And then if we go back to VMs, we can select one, and they have very basic access. As you can see, they really can't do much of anything other than view things. Let's go back to our administrator window, and then we can see what the process is like to create a new role. So let's create a new role. This is going to be the AHV admin role. And then, we can go through the permission list and, pick anything that makes sense. So we're just going to give, full access because it's the administrator, and to make this simple. So full access to the cluster, networks, they can just view, full access to OVAs so they can create, images and OVAs. They'll get full access so they can create, delete, edit them. Now that we've created that, we'll go back into there, and then we can manage the assignment. So we're going to add new. We have our directory selected. Just start typing so it can auto-complete. And then I'm going to pick just the AHV admin user. This could be, we could assign multiple users again, or we could use a group in the directory and assign it via group, which is typically how most organizations would do that. And then under entity type, so we'll select cluster, we're going to use the category base. If you do individual, you could then assign rights to just specific clusters rather than having to assign them to categories, whichever makes sense for your environment and your requirements. Select the category for permission or clusters, and then we'll go network and do the same thing. And just to make it simple, we'll do the VM ones now. So we've now, once we click save on this, we'll have a new role set up that will give full access to anybody assigned this role. And they'll have full access to clusters, networks, and VMs, because those are what I picked already. And then we're using the same categories we used for the view-based role, the user role. If I exit back out of this, the AHV user role, the same category and entities that are assigned to those categories was used for this one. It's just this role gives us full access to it versus the other one, which gave us just view access to this. So you can see it's very flexible on how you set up the roles and control access to your different entities, and very easy to set them up.